Okay, we are live on Instagram. Hello, Instagram. And we are almost live on Facebook. So I'll just give it one more second or two to make that link. Redirecting. Facebook Live is happening. It's Wednesday. All right, we are live. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Hi, Courtney. Hi, Maria. Hi, Mary. Let me know where you're saying hello from. Maybe it's your living room or your kitchen, right? Say hello and let me know what's going on. I am always so excited. I love Wellness Wednesday. It's one of my favorite things that I do all week, every week. So this is Wellness Wednesday. Welcome if you haven't been here before. This is May. May is marking Women's Health Month, especially Women's Health Week. So if you've ever heard of it, right, maybe it's newer, I don't know, I heard of it, I like it, I'm going with the theme of it. And so National Women's Health Week starts, I think this weekend for Mother's Day, and it's the entire week after. But I thought even cooler, could we extend this to the entire month? And so here we are. If we haven't met before, my name is Lauren Baptiste, and I'm an executive wellness coach and founder of Akaloa Wellness. My firm empowers ambitious, hardworking, empowered souls to break through the effects of stress so that they can thrive. My background is I have been in corporate for over 10 years in financial services. I've experienced the hardship of stress and burnout on my body. I had so many things on my body, right? I had acne on my face, my chest, my back. I had irregular menstruation. I had minor depression. I had really painful eyes after looking at my screen all day. I suffered from so many things, and that's just like off the top of, the list. But there was a period of time where my body was suffering because of my lifestyle. And so my passion is to help each of you who are joining today to break through that so that you can feel better and that you can conquer your world and do it in a really aligned way. And so why I'm talking about my cycle and my acne and my things is because I want you to understand that if you're experiencing that, you can break through it too. And so today we're talking about Women's Health Month, and we're going right into the women's stuff. Like, I've been waiting 4 months for this, 5, right? It's May. So let's dig right in, because we are going to be talking about birth control, menstruation, irregular menstruation, how to get us back through different types of lifestyle techniques. So this is May. So I'm really excited to be here because we're going to be talking about the untalkable, the things that women don't talk about, the things that we maybe scroll past really quickly on our feeds on Instagram or Facebook. And so today we're talking about birth control. And so for all of you who aren't 18, right, thinking, well, why are we having this conversation now? Is because I know so many women who are in their 30s who have been on birth control for over a decade, who have been thinking about, do I stay on it? Do I get off it? I get this topic all of the time. So I was like, you know what? I'm just bringing it to Wellness Wednesday because birth control can really affect us. And so first, if you're here and you're listening, I'm always curious if you use birth control, if you're comfortable sharing, you can send it to me privately. And if you are on birth control, what you're on, and if you are ever thinking about getting off, because I get this conversation, I get this question all the time. A lot of the work that I do starts with women, and I'll ask them, oh, so what's your cycle like? And they look at me like I have 4 heads. And it's because when I understand what your cycle is like, I can point back into what else is going on. So if our menstrual cycle isn't feeling really regular, isn't feeling healthy, then it's a point of focus. So a lot of us, if we're on birth control, right, this takes us one step behind there because I don't even know my cycle if I'm on birth control. And so what we're going to do today is break through some of the facts, talk through some of the information. And I love to make this a collaborative conversation. So I'm getting some chats. I'm moving my Instagram to the other side. Let's see what is coming in. Yeah. All right. So we see some natural family planning. I see some IUDs. Yeah. Copper IUDs are really common. NuvaRing. Less and less women I'm talking to are actually taking the pill, but it's still out there. And so why do we talk about birth control? Why does it matter? Why does it matter as women that are stressed or that are kicking ass in their jobs and in their professions? Why does it matter? Well, what I will tell you is the effect of birth control on your body is really profound. And so it's actually the one medicine, if you think about it, that is trying to break something that normally works. So, right, so every month our body is trying to have a baby, right? Whether we want that baby or not, that's another story, different conversation for a different day. But that's what it's trying to do. And so by going on birth control, whether it is to prevent having a baby, or if it is for skin, or if it is for whatever other reason you're on birth control, it's really important to know that it has an effect. It's actually covering and it's creating a pseudo menstruation so that your body continues to go through the process. But what's happening is that you're not fully ovulating. And so what's happening here is in these medicines that we're taking, we're getting increased estrogen and or progesterone, which are hormones that are telling us, okay, I'm about to grow a baby. And then all of a sudden it drops and you go on that placebo week. And then all of a sudden your body's like, oh, wait, no, you're not. Bleed, right? And that's the cycle month over month over month. I lure myself to thinking that I'm going to have a baby. And then I go on the placebo. And then my body realizes, comes back, drops the uterine layer. And so let's talk about some of the fun facts that I like to share because it really just gets the conversation started. And so one thing, right, when we're taking the pill, we notice when I speak to a lot of women that we experience emotions, we experience irritability, different types of things, right? And different types of emotions. And even in our body, maybe we feel more water retention, maybe we feel a little heavier, maybe we feel a little slower if we were athletic, maybe that starts to dwindle. We don't feel that same even that hunger or thirst for life or seizing the day. It might calm down a little bit because there's more estrogen pumping in your blood. And so a little bit of estrogen is fine, but too much estrogen is called estrogen dominance. And when that happens, when we have too much estrogen dominating our body, it can lead to things like weight gain, depression, loss of libido, and then increased chances of breast cancer. And so it's really important to know whether or not I really need this. And so for some of us, right, even the idea of if I take a pill, if I miss it once, they say you drop your effectiveness from 99% to 85%. And so for some of us who have a copper IUD, now you're not thinking about it because it's in there, but are you experiencing these other types of reactions or symptoms? Now, keep in mind, and this is one thing that I get a lot of shock from, or from my clients when I'll tell them this, or when I'm speaking, is that women are mostly infertile. And so maybe some of us who have kids or are trying to have kids can understand this, but for most of the month, we could not get pregnant. I remember in high school, it's if anyone even touches you, right, then there's a chance that you might, have a baby. And that's not the case, right? We have an egg when we ovulate that comes out of our ovaries, floats down our fallopian tube, and it has about 12 to 24 hours to be inseminated, right? To be for sperm and egg to meet, ovum and sperm. And if that doesn't happen, the egg disintegrates. And so one thing is we can start to understand when we're pregnant and we can start to learn how to avoid. So it can be really cool if we start to think about other options. If we're thinking of, hey, I've been on this for 10 years, I'm looking to get off, what options are for me? Because if you're feeling these effects of the estrogen in your body, then it can have an effect in your performance or your relationships, right? I remember when I was estrogen dominated, I lost a lot of friends. I lost loved ones. I can't believe my ex stayed with me as long as he did, right? There's things like that because I was not myself and I wasn't understanding that there was another path. And so today, as we're talking about birth control, we're going to talk about, all right, what's the deal? Is it healthy or harmful? And that answer, to answer that first question, because I'll get that a lot, is that it depends. If we are solely on any type of contraceptive medication because we are just trying to avoid birth, but we were all healthy otherwise, then there's a good chance that you will be fine. However, if you're getting on birth control because you have painful cramps, because you have PCOS, because you have some type of medical condition, it will help you regulate. But the moment you take it away and take it out of your life, you will likely be experiencing the same thing just 5 or 10 years later. So it's really important to think about, why am I on this and what is the long term? Because now what I'm doing, what I'm seeing, and what I'm experiencing when I'm working with clients is that they were on it for so long. They're ready to come off, but they're scared because they're like, I don't want to have the cramps that I used to have. And so the really cool thing is that we can monitor how our cycle is just based on lifestyle. There's so much we could do with diet and lifestyle to, if we were experiencing really heavy cramps in our teens or our early 20s, and then we went on birth control, there is a way that you can monitor that. And so that's really one cool thing that I love to share, because when I got into all of this, I had no idea that there was another path. I was at my gynecologist sitting there being like, you either do this or just do this, right? Like it was more of like, do you want the pill or the ring or the IUD or the, right? I got to pick which one, but I never even knew about natural family planning or FAM, fertility awareness method, because I wasn't aware, because I wasn't trying to have a kid. But the idea is that you can control your entire birthing process or fertility process just by being aware of your own body. And I think that's such a powerful thing as women, to really tap into what we need and who we are, is to understand the phases of our cycle and to understand who we are in the different phases of our cycle. And instead of judging ourselves for not being the woman that we're trying to be 2 weeks ago, right, during a different phase of my cycle, I can be who I am now. And what that does is creates a lot less stress and pressure and allows me to thrive. And that's what this whole thing is about, is thriving. So let's go into a few more questions and things. Let's see. All right. Yeah, we talked about a lot of this. All right, that's really awesome, because we're chugging through. And so what I would love to know is, for those of you who are joining me, if you have questions, if you're trying to get off, what your experience might be, if this is something that feels a little taboo for you. And I shared this on a prior Wellness Wednesday, but this idea of women not feeling comfortable sharing is really common, because what can happen is, like, women, right, everything's on the inside. Our ovaries are on the inside, where a man's, similar testes are on the outside. Women pee in bathrooms behind closed doors. Guys just pee out and open, right? Like, there's a difference in between, like, guys will just talk about this stuff. Women aren't as comfortable. So what I'm doing is sharing based on those who have come to me, questions that I continue to get, and just sharing little nuggets of wisdom so that you can make an informed decision of what feels right and empowering for you. And so one question that came in, and thank you so much for sharing, is, how bad is the copper IUD compared to a hormonal birth control? And she puts it in quotes, and I appreciate that, because it really is, it's in quotes. And one thing that I always like to share is also something I've learned in the world of Ayurveda, is that nothing is good or bad. It just depends on how it's used, right? One thing that we can use as medicine, if we take too much, it's poison. Same thing applies with everything in our life. And so when I think about how bad is this copper IUD compared to normal birth control, there's a benefit to it, right? Set it and forget it. It's placed in there. I don't have to think about it. But there are effects. Getting it out is harder. It has to get removed. It's not as spontaneous, where I want to do this or I don't want to do this. A lot of the birth controls, they're similar in the nature. So if you're comparing one to the other, you can say, hey, copper IUD might be more effective, but are you really feeling into the shifts of your feminine cycle? I've also heard different stories on and things of happening of by having the copper IUD in there, and how that can affect what's kind of going on directly, because you're literally placing something right in your reproductive organ. So what I would say to you is, if you're considering, one versus the other, I always, even when I'm working with clients and it really has nothing to do with them trying to avoid or obtain pregnancy, I'll always say it's really important to understand the shifts of your cycle, understand the mucus that's coming out of you. Yes, I said it. And it's really important that we understand what is coming out of us, because it allows us to understand who we are in this moment. What's going on in my life? Am I in a phase where I'm ovulating and I want to be conquering the world? Or am I in a phase where I need reflective and quiet time? Our cycle tells us that. Yes, our cycle tells us that. And so I think that's a really beautiful question. But if you're feeling like, hey, I want to still be able to control my fertility, but in a really empowered way, that's why this fertility awareness method is a really cool way to just see what's happening in your body. And that way, am I able to get pregnant today or am I not? And depending on the woman you're asking, right? Some might be looking to get pregnant and some might be looking to avoid. Some might be, have already a couple of kids and may say, okay, this is enough. Or maybe you've had kids and you say, well, I'm about to, ask my husband to cut, tie his tubes or whatever. So I think it's just important to figure out what method, as you step beyond, is available for you. Because most of us think that my only availability is birth control. And so this can be a really empowering thing, because if we have been on it for a long time, I was on it for 7 years. And I know a lot of women who started in late high school, college, and are continuing either until the point that they're about to have a kid, or they just realize, hey, I'm in my 30s. I don't want to take this anymore. Because if you continue to take it up until your menopause period, there's a good chance you might also need to stay on hormones. And they call it HRT, hormone replacement therapy, for the rest of your life. And that's not to scare you. That's just like, that might be what you need because you've always been depending on it for so long. And so I know a lot of women that are on it and they are in their 60s and they feel fine on HRT. For me, that wasn't the option I wanted. I wanted to try to be rid of as many things in my body and on my body as possible. So I found it really empowering to start to use these tools and techniques to manage my own health. That doesn't mean I might never need it. That doesn't mean that things happen, right? Life happens. But I think it's just really understanding that you have an opportunity to get even more from your own body and to learn more from your body and understand that your cycle is so much part of you, even through menopause. And so a lot of women that I'm working with in their 30s and 40s are saying, well, menopause is maybe next. Should I be worrying about that? Should I think about that? And that will be in a later episode. 20 minutes flies by, ladies, but it's all good. It has been an absolute pleasure. Today, we're talking all about birth control and the importance that it has in your body. I hope this just little kind of nuggets that I threw at you, these facts, just help to empower you to make an informed decision in your own life. There are so many tools available for you. So if you have any questions for me, don't hesitate to reach out. And this is what we do. Every single Wednesday, we talk about different topics that span work-life balance, women's health, Ayurveda, stress management, and it's really to give you the tools to live an empowered life. We all are so busy. We have so many things going on, but this is the opportunity for you to get a little nugget, to bring it, digest it, and to continue in your life and find these little shifts that have you feeling wonderful so that you can show up as the person that you aspire to be. So one thing that I just wanted to share with each of you today, that if you're feeling interested in kind of creating your own COVID comeback plan, reach out to me. It's one thing that I'm doing right now with a lot of individuals that's been really empowering, is to create a goal plan as you work through this. I know a lot of us are feeling the heaviness, the lethargy, the malaise of COVID-19. So if that is feeling like too much on you right now, please feel free to reach out to me. My name is You know me, I'm Lauren. My email is lauren@aceloawellness.com, ACHELOA wellness.com, for a breakthrough session. And then if you're listening today and you join every week, I would love for you to share. We post on Instagram, we're live on Facebook. We even post these sessions on our website after if you can't make it. But by being part of the live, you're able to contribute to the conversation. You're able to ask questions. You're here live. And so either way, if you're here live with me or you're listening as one of the others out there, it's a pleasure to connect with you, and it's an honor to be with you. And I hope to be with you each and every Wednesday. But for now, thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. I'm excited for Women's Health Month. We are getting into it. Next week, all about the cycle. We're going into it. And so I hope you are excited. Bring your questions, bring your thoughts, look at your own cycle and see what's going on for you, because it'll be a really empowering, reflective opportunity. All right, ladies, awesome. I will see you soon. Have a beautiful week ahead. Take care.